सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम तत्सत् Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome to another episode of Sundays with Arun. This is a unique program where I do what I enjoy, and hopefully you're doing what you enjoy. That is sitting together and having a nice chat about things that matter to all of us. But sometimes we don't have either the time or the space or the opportunity to discuss, share, and maybe utilize the many different kinds of experiences that we all have as human beings. I'm the moderator for the discussion. I'm the person leading the talk. I'm the host for the program. However, all of you are as much part of the program and hosts as I am. So you have to get your own tea and coffee or something more sattvic and keep sipping as we chit-chat. So hello to people on YouTube and hello to everyone on Zoom. So what should we talk about today? I've had many suggestions in the past 2 weeks as to what we should talk about. But being live gives me a chance to ask you directly, what would you like to talk about today? Matters which are pressing, urgent, important, valuable to you, and what would you like us to discuss? So while you're thinking about it and pressing the button, the fastest finger first, I have some suggestions that I got. One of them is how to deal with anxiety, and one was how to make more money. Wow, that sounds like a good topic. Another was how to deal with bad people. No, I don't think that was a suggestion, but anyway. And I noticed that all the suggestions seem to be talking about all the negative influences that we have in our life, or the negative things that are going on. And we want some cure, or we want some solution for the problems that we are facing. And on YouTube, I have some suggestions as well today, priorities in life, and how to calm the mind, and how to deal with hormonal imbalances. As you can see that we are thinking about how to deal with the problems of our life. And we'll come to that in a moment, but I want this very wise audience to think about what is it that we have in our life which we can celebrate, and what is it that we're not celebrating, and what is it that we can do to expand what we already have and not be so anxious and worried about our anxieties and worries, if you get what I mean. How about thinking about our good fortune, good luck? How about thinking about the fact that we are able to talk to each other on Zoom and YouTube? And what a privilege. By the way, this is just hot water, okay? Just in case somebody is wondering what's going on. Some colored, it's cumin water. And it's a little warm. I don't want to feel guilty. Um, so yeah, so if you look at what you have, and if we don't look at what we don't have, then we have a starting point for a very interesting discussion. Like I have hormonal imbalances, how to deal with them. Who doesn't? From the presidents and prime ministers of countries, without taking any names, all the way down to all the business people and the people who are employed and bosses and subordinates. I tell my students, they say, yeah, yeah, yeah. One day they'll say, yeah, yeah, yeah. Next 1 minute they'll say, no, 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 no. Next moment say, yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, the hormones are a little imbalanced. How to retain relationships, that is the treasure in our life. Good, yeah. The four favorite topics of mine are relationships, money, health, and our own potential. These are my four favorite topics. So let me hear a few things from you about what I said, and then shall we go ahead with that? Yes, of course, Nilanj. Money. That's an important matter. So what is it that you want to discuss? So we have some few minutes to kind of set the priority for today evening. Sundays with Arun. We don't need to hurry. We don't need to find the topic suddenly just because we are meeting. So those who are on Zoom also have a voice. The people who are on YouTube, of course, you cannot talk, but you can definitely type in and contribute to the discussion. So you have to unmute yourself if you're talking on Zoom, okay? So let's talk a little bit about prosperity and abundance. Is that a good idea? Rather than talk about misery and poverty and illness and unbalanced hormones. Yes, good. Sokatika, thank you. So here we go. We look at abundance, prosperity. And in India, and in the traditional Hindu culture, we might say that, okay, we can talk about yoga. We worship Lakshmi and Saraswati equally and without embarrassment. Saraswati knowledge and Lakshmi wealth. It's important to know that without prosperity, we cannot explore our potential and we cannot truly be free from the encumbrances that we face. It's important for us to have wealth. And as many of the wise people have spoken before us, it is not in austerity or in poverty that you can be in a state of spirituality. You cannot explore spirituality unless you have some state of contentment, something that is okay in your life. When you're hungry and tired and sleepy, and there is a lot of worry and anxiety, you really cannot explore God or spirit. We cannot explore the higher realms of life. We cannot think of contributing. So the view is that we don't need to be embarrassed about prosperity or abundance, and from there we look at what is it that we already have. Abundance. And then we look at what can we do to contribute to that abundance, so that not only do we feel the abundance, but we can also share the abundance. Both. So let's hear from you. What is your good luck? What have you been lucky with? What is abundant in your life? What is working? The hormones are not working, but something is working. Let's talk about that. I have anxieties, but I also have. What is the good thing that you have? What is it? Come on, you have to share, you have to talk. This is a discussion. So, what is it that you have that I can call you, what a lucky person you are? Well, I have Zoom. Courage. One of the things that you have is courage. You have to change your name, Google Pixel, so that I can call you by name. People who love and support me. So that's wonderful. Okay. Abundance in my family and relationships. That's what Swagatika says. That I'm alive and I have good health. Couple says, I have an ability to find joy in simple things. This is really nice. It's a good beginning. Ikmeet, you have to unmute yourself. One second. I think I have a feeling that yeah, there is. I'm not able to hear you, Ikmeet. I don't know why that is. You're unmuted, all right, but I can't hear you. Rohini says, I have dedication. Swagatika says, I've got good health. And yoga also. Rohini says something very interesting. She says, I'm content. Ikmeet, you can type if you like, and I'll share that on the. You'll have to type. I can't hear. You're not audible. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's my device. So, yeah, this is interesting that you have courage. You have people who love you and support you. Nilan says, I have my relationships and my family. Rohini says, I am content. I can celebrate the fact that I'm content. Swagatika says, I also have yoga. Considering that we are also in the middle of a yoga audience, this is a nice thing to hear. And Rohini says, I have dedication. Yeah, and that I think of God every day. This is also nice. What else is abundant in our life? Let me also prompt the discussion a little bit. More or less, we seem to have reasonably good health. That's why we are able to sit together today, isn't it? We are not in hospital and we are not in terrible pain. We're not in discomfort. We have an hour and a half to spare, so we are sitting together. So we seem to have at least that much, that we have reasonably good health to be together today. Of course, we have food on the table, isn't it? I'm assuming. But maybe I'm assuming with some authority that yes, we all have some food on the table. We also have a roof on our over our head. This is something wonderful. Um, I'm assuming that many of us have had good education. That's a good thing to celebrate. Ekmeet says, I have strength, I have calmness, and I have stability. It's a wonderful thing to celebrate. That's abundant. I'm strong, I'm stable, and in most situations, I'm calm, except with my parents, especially with my mom. Um, so Rohini also says, I love the daily practice of yoga, and I also love to be among people who are optimistic. Now, this is a good thing, isn't it? That we have people around us who celebrate our life and we celebrate theirs. This is such a gift. Um, we're born in a land, most of us who are here in the room, where poverty, famine, maybe war is missing. We can celebrate that abundance. The fact that we don't have to struggle because of some very serious external factors. And I'm taking into account the fact that in many places in the world, even while we are watching this, there are floods, there are many kinds of disasters going on, people are struggling, but I'm thinking about not those things, but really the fact that we're sitting together and thinking about what is abundant in our life. I'm ignoring for a moment what is not working, what are the struggles, and so on. It's great to be able to practice yoga and meditation, to be able to have a choice to eat the right kind of food. Um, it's wonderful to be able to have a few things, like, for example, an ability to take a holiday, to go out with friends, to visit places where we have not visited before or visited before. These are things which are not normal in terms of our consideration. When we celebrate things, we don't celebrate the ordinary things. Kapil says nicely that I celebrate the simple things in my life. I have that ability to do that. The very fact that I woke up this morning and I had a day ahead, free from strife, free from going to hospital or meeting doctors or being in pain itself is such a gift. Roti kapda makan, food, clothing, shelter, no debt. Some of us, of course, because we've been very cheeky with our money, we are a little bit in debt. And then, of course, we enjoy sport, enjoy art and science. I was telling my students yesterday how lucky we are as a generation, especially in India. Of course, this is an audience which is joining us from different parts of the world, but in India, in the 1960s and 70s, things were very frugal as I was growing up. It wasn't, let's say, it wasn't very prosperous. Things were okay, but we were not prosperous. And now we have a comparison. In 2025, we are able to compare what it was way back in the 1970s, about, let's say, 40, 45 years ago, 50 years ago. There are lovely air-conditioned vehicles. There are wonderful air-conditioned offices and homes. We have large double beds with 1 foot thick mattresses, 2 feet thick mattresses. All kinds of apps where you can order food and order luxury. The world comes to you rather than you go to the world. You have every kind of possibility of watching movies and other kinds of drama, and also creating new dramas of your own. What a lucky generation we are here in 2025. So many things to celebrate. So when we wake up in the morning, what are we thinking? Oh my God, my hair is falling so much. Oh my God, what is this pimple on my face suddenly? My God. I'm going to starve myself to death because I have to lose those 5 kilos. There are people out there who don't have enough to eat, and here we are, we have some gift that we have got, and we forget that we can really be in gratitude. We can be happy that we have so many things in our control, so many things that we can celebrate. So if this was so, if we were to look at only this, the idea that we have so much going on which is very good for us, and we don't think too much about the sudden appearance of um, or let's say suddenly the hair is falling. Some of the things are inevitable. I hope we know that. Like, having neighbors is inevitable unless you live in on the South Pole, in Antarctica. It's inevitable that you'll have neighbors. And you know what they say about the neighbors. That you need to have really good luck to have good neighbors. So we can't control that much, but so if we celebrate what we have, how will your day look like? For example, I'm not too concerned today about my hormones or my weight, but I'm celebrating the idea that I can communicate. I have good health. I have money. I can get by today. Um I have relationships which are supporting and loving. And I have people whom I can be friends with and I can nurture them. And I have a full day ahead of me and I can occupy myself with nice things. Maybe I can paint, maybe I can sing, maybe I can play a game on my phone. Maybe I can do some very important creative things in my life so that I can contribute to thousands of people. What if we thought like this and not worry about what is not there in my cupboard? What if we thought that, okay, this is who I am, this is what I've got, how will our life look like? How will we feel? And how will we connect with life? What do you think will happen? If we live life thinking we are the kings and queens of our life, and we have an abundant kingdom, and we live in an abundant palace, how will life look like? And I know that we are dealing with difficult relationships. I understand that. I understand that we're dealing with difficult financial situations. I'm not ignoring it. I'm not saying that those are not present. And I'm also saying that maybe you're dealing with some difficult medical issues. But there are a few things that, like I said, we can celebrate. Yes, Lisa. And I'm saying that what are those things that we can celebrate and be grateful about and feel that yes, there is abundance. Yes, if you are grateful and if you feel happy about your existence and if you feel that there are good things that are there in your life, then the chances are that you invite more good things, isn't it? If you feel happy about things that are already existing, already present, rather than worry about the things that are troubling you, are not in your control, are not coming into your control, or you don't feel great about. If you focus on those things, then obviously you're spending a lot of energy trying to correct the course of your life. But what if we started with the idea, I'm saying, that we have abundance? Of course, we have toxic relationships. But what if we concentrated only on the great relationships? On relationships that really matter to us? What if instead of focusing all our energy and draining our energy with relationships that don't work or are really draining, we cultivate the intimacy of those relationships that really matter? They are nurturing to us, nourishing to us. It could be with anyone. It doesn't need to be with a family or a friend. It could be even with people whom we work with, like for example, your subordinates or your superiors, or even people whom you employ at home. You could have a great relationship with somebody who helps you in the kitchen, for example, and focus on that and take care of that relationship, because that is a good relationship you have. It's not toxic, it's not troubling. There is a nurturing relationship between you and the person who helps you in the kitchen, like a domestic help. I'm asking the question, what if you spend more time working with those nurturing relationships that are cultivating you than worry about the toxic relationship? Chances are that with the toxic relationship, you're not going anywhere right now. You're not being able to find out what to do. You're saying, I don't know where to go with this. I like your handle, Lisa. It says healthy hair. Lisa, healthy hair. You see, you can give nice names to yourself as well. And you can give nice names to your friends, and that elevates your mood. As human beings, we can be so creative, isn't it? We can be so amazingly humorous and funny. But it takes a lot to get away from the current habit of going down a dark path, to count our miseries more than count our blessings. And I'm not talking about positive thinking, it's a little different from that. It's about really appreciating and being with the small things that we already are gifted with. We're so lucky. We got these things already done. Those basic things, let's say, of the base of the pyramid, Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we kind of figured it out. I tell my students that by the time you're 30, and this is for Indians, but it might be a different figure for non-Indians, especially people from the developed countries. But in India, I say by the time you're 30 years old, you should start giving, you should start contributing. It could be, your energy, your time, your money, your experience, your knowledge, your wisdom, just your presence. You should start giving, you should learn. And this is not preaching, I'm just saying that this is really something I wish we all could do for each other. That I wish you could contribute to me without thinking, okay, what will he give me back? Just being supportive as human beings of each other and just giving. And this is exploring the same idea that we have abundance. We have enough. My domestic help, he's so amazing. He comes from a, a very small background, but every time he goes to his house, which is local, he comes back, he brings some nice food that he has prepared, and he comes and gives it to me. And that's very contributory. I mean, he's contributing to me, but that is not a word contribute. It's like, it's not an adjective, it's not a verb, it's just an action. It's a pure, very simple act of giving. He shares some of the food that he has made at home, he brings it and he shares it with me. What is it that you have that you can give? What is it that you have that you can share? And not feel that, okay, you're depriving yourself. Oh my God, I wasted my 1 hour there. Or why should I give my half an hour away? In that time, I can make more money. Or I can work on this really toxic relationship and turn it around. Maybe we don't have the time to turn those things around, or maybe we don't have the energy. So that's a lovely thing, Kapil, that we seem to be cornered by technology so much that we forget to pause and reflect. But I wouldn't want to give the responsibility of our life to a device or to a noisy environment. I know that you work in an area where there are lots and lots of people. Kapil, you work in a very noisy environment, in North Delhi. And if I was you, I could easily blame my lack of focus to whatever is going on outside around you, isn't it? Just blame and not take the responsibility. Say it's very noisy, very distracting. And I agree with you that, the devices are very, they have really taken away all our attention. And just to focus on the simpler things, it's now becoming very difficult. But we can definitely try to bring back the joy of being aware of the gifts that God and nature have given us, and our very birth into a certain kind of land and certain kind of space has given us. I was born to wonderful parents. They didn't look that wonderful when I was a teenager. I have to really admit, to be very honest. I thought they were gods when I was growing up, but when I became a teenager, I really thought I didn't need any enemies. I had 2 of them at home. But then looking back over time, I now realize how wonderful 2 human beings were in my life. They were so beautiful. And everything I am today, I am partly my father, partly my mother. Whatever they gifted me, in their way, in their small way, they contributed in their own behavior, in their own actions. In their own small way, they contributed to who I am today. My father for his kindness, my mother for her industriousness. And those come through in my actions today, and I'm surprised, how did I act so kindly? That's not me. Then I realize that yes, I've inherited it, not only from the genes, but also from his actions, my father, that, I'm being kind. What is it that you can contribute and feel happy about today that you've contributed to someone, somewhere, somehow? By not being unhappy, also you're contributing. By not being difficult, also you're contributing, by the way. This is my view. That you can contribute by just not being miserable, by being horrible, by being sick. The minimum that we can do is be on level 0. And then from there you think, okay, what is it that I can contribute? What is it that I can give? And yes, Kapil, if we think ourselves to be at level 0 and we don't think ourselves to be sinking, this is a way of looking at life, really, then so much is possible for us to contribute. So much is possible for us to give. Many of us, for example, can do some small things to improve things around us. Maybe in our own local neighborhood. Maybe pick up a piece of trash and put it in the bin and not feel like a Boy Scout. You don't have to turn up your collar and walk around the town saying, look, I picked up a piece of trash. This is obvious, as human beings, we should be able to do some small things which contribute to each other's lives. And many times I've found people to be in tears when we just share a moment with each other. It's so important to realize that all of us are very tender. The most difficult of human beings are also very tender. Many of my students call me, they compare me to a coconut, hard on the outside, soft and tender on the inside. This reminds me that this is how it is with my students as well. They look so tough. But just sitting with them is so amazing. With all of you, just sitting with all of you, it's so amazing to be with all of you, because I know that there will come a moment of tenderness when we connect with each other at a deep human level. How amazing is that? How beautiful is that? We know that we can do so much for each other. Share some time, share some experience, share some wisdom, even share some phone numbers. Why didn't you call that doctor? Why didn't you call this doctor? In India, we are so helpful of each other. So I tell my students, especially people who are really very focused on themselves, that self-care should not take 24 hours of the day, 7 days of the week. We should stop obsessing about ourselves by the time we are 30 years old. This is India. Maybe in the foreign countries, especially developed countries, the age is little earlier, I feel, because you all are so industrious and hardworking and able to do so much. I know people who work 18, 20 hours a day and still keep going for years and without stress. In India, we are a little laid back. We can't do so much. We need to take 3 days holiday after 18 hours a day for 2 days. But coming back to abundance, we have every chance to contribute to people around us. My mother, bless her soul, and she's all around me all the time. Even though she passed away 4 years ago, she's my mentor, as any mentor can be. I have a feeling she used to be very irritated at one point in her life with me, the amount of time I spent with people, taking care of them, counseling them, being with them. She was very vocal. She never held back. She was like Muhammad Ali in my life, Cassius Clay. She just punched above her weight, always. But she did feel that I was going beyond the call of duty to help people and support people. And I'm not trying to say that I was being Robin Hood or something. No, I'm just saying that I really felt even very early on that I have enough. I have enough of everything. And of course, I am greedy for a lot of other things. I have desire. I want things. I'm not saying that part of my life doesn't exist. It exists maybe in all of us. I don't know. But for me, it definitely exists. I really want. Don't record this. But I might really like a pizza right now. Okay, strike it off the records. But there are desires. I'm not, but I have enough. If you get what I'm saying, I have enough so that I can give away. I don't need so much. And my mother used to feel that I'm going a little beyond the call of duty. But I never felt that way, and I wasn't doing that either, because I know there is a line that we all have to draw. We can't go too much beyond the call of duty. But even if we do a little bit, it's great. And then she fell in line. She realized that people respond to me in a certain way that's very unusual, because people don't go out of the way to be friendly, to be supportive, to give without reason. My dad used to do that, but he used to do that definitely for his family. And of course, I noticed that he did it for some of his friends as well, or colleagues. But I do that as a profession. Sorry to use that word, but yeah, this is my daily occupation that I love to give. I love to share my knowledge and experience with people, and also give my time. That's because I feel that I have enough. And now I come around to those questions that some of you had spoken to me about. Why don't we talk about this in Sundays with Arun? Why don't we talk about my crazy hormones? What should I do to balance them? Should I do Anuloma Viloma, or should I do Kapalabhati, or should I do Shirshasana, or should I do some more rounds of Surya Namaskar, or should I take some Ayurvedic medicine? I say that celebrate your abundance and give yourself a chance to contribute, and maybe your hormones won't worry you anymore. My mother used to say, sorry to bring up my mother again, that I don't have time to fall sick. I really understand what she's saying. I don't have time, I haven't had time today, Sunday, since morning, to think if I need to fall sick or not. I really haven't had time to even think whether I should fall sick or not. I've been so busy since morning, doing nothing for myself, but a lot for maybe you and maybe people who are my students, or the kind of work that I do, contributing to the world around me. Is that possible for everyone in this room? And in Sundays with Arun today evening? Yes, the answer is yes. It's possible for us to contribute. Let's hear some things from you. Let's hear from you. What would you like to talk about? No, sorry. What are you thinking? What is coming up for you? Let's hear some sharing. The room is quiet. Yes, definitely, Kapil. It's very soothing to be together with this community, a group that is very similar minded, in many ways seeking a path which is simpler, less complicated than the life that we have been trained to live. Life is very complex. Human beings are very complex. And it is not, we cannot find life to be just a game. There are many things that need our attention. So the best training that we can give ourselves is to focus on things that are a little less complicated. For example, the fact that we can think clearly, we can discuss things with people, we have food on the table, we can sleep tonight in our own bed, and so on. Those simple things that we can focus on, and eventually get to a point where we can say that yes, we can contribute to the world, to life around us. And because we are contributing, life then contributes back to us. Any other observation? Any other comment? Anything that you'd like to share? I was meeting somebody a couple of days ago, and he was saying to me that he is in debt. He has serious financial difficulties. And I was trying to understand the financial issues for a while. And then what I explained to him is that he has the intelligence, he has the wisdom, he has the experience to turn around the financial situation. But what he needs to bring into the picture is time and effort and consistency. And he has to give himself at least 2 to 3 years to turn around that financial situation, and he has to barter himself to get his business and his financial situation back on track. So here he is not contributing to others, but the training here is to contribute to himself so that he can come out of debt, he can come out of the financial situation. Is it possible to give him some technologies and techniques to get out of debt? Of course, there are technologies and techniques, and there are business propositions and so on, and takeovers and mergers. But that's like winning a lottery, isn't it? My dictionary, it says that he has to put himself at stake, and he has to contribute to himself. And the more time he spends doing that, and more consistently he does that, the more the business will turn around. He'll fire the bad employees, the unproductive employees. He will remove the sections of the business that are causing losses. He'll figure out ways of becoming more efficient in the business. He will put more time in marketing. All those things are secondary, isn't it? He has to put time and effort and energy. Basically, he has to put himself at stake to contribute to himself. Yes, Lisa, kindness attracts kindness. But when people are being mean to you, yes, Kapil, that's the word I used. He has to barter himself. I also gave him the story of Harish Chandra, how he bartered himself for the happiness of his family. So yes, you have every chance to look at what you have. You have every chance of looking at the abundance that you have in your life, whether it is to do with time, youth, health, money, energy, good parenting. I won't say good parents, but good parenting. Parents are always good, but good parenting as well. Good teachers. How wonderful it is to have yoga in our lives. 1 hour of yoga gives me 25 hours in a day. That's what one of my students said. How wonderful is that? One of my students said, 1 hour of yoga gives me 25 hours in a day. It's interesting how most of us feel pretty drained with our daily lives, and we really don't jump out of bed. We say, oh no, Monday again. Oh no, clients again. Oh no, things to do again. Maybe we can say, Wow, what a great day again. Let me jump out of bed. Why am I wasting my time sleeping? I have so much to do and so little time to do it in. When I was 29 years old, I didn't feel this way. Then yoga gifted me a new life. And now that I'm 62, I do feel half my age in every aspect of my life, including my physical endurance and stamina and energy. And at the same time, also the way I feel about things around me, I feel very youthful, very agile in my mind. The reason is that I have finished focusing on myself with that 1 hour in the day. I have now 24 more hours to focus on everything else. I can work hard, I can look after all of you as my students, and I can take care of more things than just how to make money and how to take care of my sickness. So Ankit is asking about a question about what do you do about someone who exploits his power and exploits others? It's a little bit hypothetical. I would want to know what exactly is going on. Is this person somebody in your life who's exploiting you and using his power on you? The same principles apply. Focus on what you have, not what is being taken away from you. And this is the basic teaching of yoga as well. I'm coming to that in a moment in this conversation. But the most important thing to understand is that there is something that you have. If you focus on what you have, then what you have can grow, and what is making you powerless may not have the power to make you powerless anymore. It's a way of looking at things, it's a way of living life, it's a way of becoming unfocused on something that is so unproductive. If you're focusing on the person who's exploiting you, there is no chance that you can develop, you can grow, you can escape. So, what is the basic teaching of yoga, Ankit? The basic teaching of yoga is freedom. It's exactly what you're asking the question about. I would say not only one person, but everything is exploiting you, isn't it? If you look at it from one point of view, everything is exploitative. But what do you have in your hands which can give you an experience of freedom? If you practice 1 hour of yoga, you can experience freedom. So you are free for 1 hour from that exploitation. And you can grow that 1 hour slowly by and by. If you lie down in Shavasana for 10 minutes, the exploitation is gone. For 10 minutes, maybe for 15 minutes. 5 minutes after you come out of Shavasana, you will feel the experience of freedom still. The more you focus on your neighbors, or the politicians in the country, or things that don't work, you're starting to drain yourself of the very life force, the prana that you have, that you're trying to cultivate, working so hard to cultivate. The moment you enter into a conflict on the road with another person, you have drained yourself of the entire energy that you built up during a yoga class. I know students who have done a wonderful yoga class, 1 hour, 90 minutes, something like that. They go out into the street and get into a angry conflict with somebody on the road, and within 30 seconds, all the 90 minutes of yoga is gone. So easy to destroy our peace, isn't it? So if you give too much energy to somebody who's exploiting you, then your life will remain that way. It's better to focus on what you have rather than what you can't control. Who knows, if you focus on what you have and you build on that, maybe one day the power that exploits you cannot exploit you anymore. In India, we have that experience over and over again. Of course, we in this generation only have heard the stories about it. But Gandhi was one such soul who wanted to end the exploitation. It was not someone, it was some one whole people who were exploited by another land, another people. And he refused to focus on the exploitation, he focused on the strength and the resilience and the ability of the Indian people to overthrow that exploitation. And this we have seen. Hello, Vedant. Again and again, we have seen that happen in our lives, and we've seen it happen in the lives of many people. That the more resilient you are, the more happy you are with what you have, the more chances you have to overthrow the exploitation. Any other observation? Any other comment? We're talking about the abundance in our lives and things that we are lucky about, so lucky as a generation of human beings, and the fact that we have a lot and we can contribute and we can experience, and that's the third leg of my conversation, that we can experience freedom. We can be free. We can experience liberation. We can be happy. We can be at peace. Because we can be. And I'm not saying that we don't have desires, we should kill desires. Remember, I spoke to you about the pizza, not mine, generally. Everybody has desires. Any other observation, comment? Today my Zoom room is a little lean. I have more people on YouTube today than on Zoom. Usually it's the other way around. I'm happy. Nilansh, you want to say something? I have a feeling my audio is not working on my computer, so I'm not sure. Yes, Lisa. Yes, I can hear you now. That's great. Thank you for speaking. I thought my whole my audience is completely mute. Yeah, go on. Want to
So
say?
when you like said that you have to barter yourself when you were giving that example.
Yes.
So what does that exactly mean, that barter yourself?
Work hard, work consistently, work intelligently, work efficiently, work so much that you're doing things way beyond the call of duty, sacrifice your pleasures and desires of today for a better tomorrow. It's called delayed gratification. For example, you want to sleep. Rest is good, but it might be possible that you're just feeling lazy about things and you don't want to do something. So rather than be lazy and go to sleep, you want to spend another 2 hours contributing to your business. That is bartering yourself, or putting yourself at stake, I would say. That you allow your knees to be grazed a little bit. Um, really work harder than you've ever worked before. Give yourself no kindness. Do not be soft on yourself. Work so hard that you know that you're really working hard to change your fortunes, change your business uh, future. You're using every known power that you have in your intelligence, in your wisdom, in your experience, in your education. You're taking the help of all your relationships. You have to put yourself in the middle of that situation to contribute to yourself. I was saying that we must contribute. By the time you're 30 years old, you must start sharing and contributing to the world. Here, for someone who is really finding himself in a great difficulty in business, he has to contribute to himself. That is the only way that he can contribute to everybody else in his life, his family, his business people, his employees, and so on. So he has to put himself at stake. He has to contribute to himself. He really has to work so hard. He has to do three people's work. I don't know if that's possible, or is that theoretical? But I believe that maybe we are doing only 1/3 of our capacity, or maybe we are doing only 20% of our capacity. Scientists apparently found out that we are only using 3% of our brain. Well, let's take that example as the truth. Maybe you and I are only using 3% of our capacity. If we work so hard, then we can make it to 10%. Imagine how your business fortunes will turn around. You go and sit with the banker, you go and sit with the financer, you go and sit with, you have to work hard, you see. You have to really spend time changing the fortune around. You have to make effort and consistent. 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, not stopping, no holidays, no Sundays. Family has to go on holiday, okay, you can go, but I will not go. I will finish this. I will do what I have to do, only then I will go on holiday. मैंने प्रतिज्ञा ली है, मैंने संकल्प लिया है. I promise myself that I will get this job done. That is bartering yourself, or putting yourself at stake, or taking a stand, or making a declaration that I will turn things around myself. I will be responsible for whatever happens in the coming days. I will turn my business around. I'll turn my fortunes around. Any other thoughts that you would like to share? Yes, Kapil, somebody said that you get lucky because you worked hard. Luck is a function of working in a certain way, working hard and also working consistently and working in a certain way, intelligent way. You can make luck happen. Luck is not something that you wait for. Luck is something that can happen to you. And all of us are, of course, lucky. As a teacher, I really celebrate the role of luck in our lives. You have to be lucky for certain things, like really lucky. You should have won the lottery of life, not to be born into a really very poor household, not to be born with deficiencies and deformities, not to be involved in certain kinds of accidents or fatalities. You really have to be lucky. The other things, you create your own luck. You eat too much, you fall sick. That is your luck. You created it. You don't exercise, you're making your own luck. You drink too much, you smoke too much, you're making your own luck. You abuse your body and mind too much, you're making your own destiny. there is a destiny that we are gifted and that we have to celebrate. And then, of course, hard work and consistent approach to certain things in a certain way produces abundance. There is no doubt about it. Yeah, Wendy has something very interesting to say, that at my work, I think not about my paycheck, but how I can help improve the life of the customer. Like, in the sense that whatever I'm doing for the customer, if the customer is, you know, satisfied, let's say I'm selling an automobile, I'm selling a washing machine, um, I'm some product or service that I'm offering and the customer is really satisfied, it will obviously contribute to my paycheck, isn't it? I mean, can there be any doubt about that? But if you're constantly thinking about your own salary, chances are that you will not be so concerned about the customer. And it's a very good way to think. It's not positive thinking, but it is thinking in a slightly different way to what we know, how life can contribute back to us. Yes, Lisa, we do make our own luck. And we also get lucky. For example, it is lucky to be born in a certain way, to a certain family, in a certain kind of situation. And you can break out of that, but to break out of that, you need a certain kind of resilience and a certain kind of effort and hard work. But if you're born to really very difficult conditions, you were born to, let's say, a war-torn zone, it's very difficult to escape from that zone until you have the money, you have some kind of ability to break out of that war zone and get into some place which actually is a peaceful environment. So sometimes luck is not on your side. But in this room and in today, Sundays with Arun, I believe that all of us are kind of lucky. We have luck on our side, at least some luck on our side. And that we should celebrate all the time. What we have, not what we don't have. That's difficult to actually control. Any other observations?
So how do we like when we are competing against ourselves only? Because when we are not looking at the results but we are working hard, so how do we know that what is enough? How much hard work is enough? Should we look at the outside results, that if we are getting the results then we are working hard?
This question is only asked by a person who has never worked hard. Only when you start working hard do you know that this question is irrelevant. The hard work itself is the result. Only a person who's never worked hard will sit there debating, should I work hard or should I not work hard? What will happen if I work hard? What will happen if I don't work hard? This is just some chess that we are playing. If you were to work hard, you will not have this question. Because the person who works hard, and I bring my mother back, she was like a karmi yogi, she was like a worker ant. She just knew how to work, nothing else. She never bothered about the results. And she achieved an enormous amount of things in her life. And she never knew that results mattered. And she produced those results, and she produced prosperity. She produced abundance in the lives of the people who were associated with her. For her son, for her husband, for her family, for everyone who knew her, she was Lakshmi. She was prosperity. She was abundance. And she really worked hard. She worked so hard. I've never seen anyone work that hard. And I did ask her, what will happen if you work hard and what will happen if you don't work hard? Because I didn't know what hard work meant. It's subjective, isn't it? If it hurts you, it is working hard. But that is not hard work. Hard work is really an ability to completely forget yourself and your needs. You become meditative, you become so immersed that you don't exist anymore. That itself is the result. That itself is the gift. You're already making your luck by immersing yourself 100% without debating it, without analyzing it, without intellectually getting into it. You're just experiencing. There have been days, Nilansh, when I've got to bed with every bone in my body hurting. And I felt so happy about it and so proud that I've really worked myself to a state of exhaustion. Now I can sleep. कहते हैं ना हिंदी में घोड़े बेच के सोना. You reach that stage where you have sold all your horses, you're very satisfied, you get to bed. That is the result. The bottom line has to automatically change. It will change. There's no doubt about it. Karma is always kind. Like Lisa said, kindness produces kindness. Hard work produces results. It's automatic. There is no doubt about it. It will produce results. If you are wanting results, it will not happen. If you think that by working 1 week you will have 10, it will not happen. If you want to have 100 by 1 month, it is not. You are focusing on the wrong thing. You have to have a vision, you have to have an objective, but beyond that, you have to put yourself at stake. And that is where the pleasure is, that is where the pain is, that is where the satisfaction is, that is where the contentment is. You don't have to practice Shirshasana or Surya Namaskar for that. That's irrelevant. I mentioned that to you as well when we spoke separately about other things, that doing yoga or not doing yoga is not going to change the bottom lines for anyone. It's not going to change your state of happiness. But doing yoga consistently because you believe that that is good for you and you have to do it and you enjoy doing it and you are in a state of meditation because you practice yoga, that is great. What it produces for you in your life is something else altogether. And something very nice that Kapil mentions here, sometimes we do underestimate the role of the environment and we overestimate our willpower. I do believe that hard work can produce results, but you also need to change your environment. You need to have a contributory environment. You need to have a supportive environment. You need to have things that work for you. You cannot do it alone. You have to have interdependency. You cannot be independent and you cannot be dependent. You have to have interdependency. The environment needs to give you the energy to sustain your hard work. So Kapil is very right about that. You need to create an environment which is really supportive of your ability to contribute. Otherwise, what you contribute also goes away in the wind. It's useless. Every time you do something, you're slipping back. Every time you do something, you're slipping back. You want to be very sure about that. Yes, after a hard day's work, resting is a luxury. But for people who are trying to get to level 0, even rest at any stage is a luxury because you have rested too long. So life's progress has been arrested. So no more rest. For a long period of time, maybe 3 to 5 years, contribute to your well-being. Once you have reached a stability of a state of 0, then you can start going to sleep peacefully. Any other observation or comment? We're coming to the end of Sundays with Arun for this weekend. Sorry. Yes, we can. If we have a discussion, like a conversation where there is a dialogue, then time will fly even faster. Time will fly like supersonic. And then if we have lots of discussion, then it will be hypersonic. The 1.5 hours will seem like 1.5 minutes. If you'd like to type something, share something, then please do. And we are getting to a point where we will slowly wind down this discussion. Yes, go on.
Uh, so it's like if according to me, I have done 100% for any particular work, maybe in a workplace or at home. But according to another person, it is just half done. And it matters like there is no satisfaction in the workplace then.
Yeah. Fire your boss.
So what happens? The capacity of doing things also goes down. Like.
So the thing is, Geeta, that you have a job, right? You can celebrate having the job.
Presently, I am not having a job, but it's the same in workplace or at home. The same thing.
So you have a home, you have food to eat, you have shelter over your head, and you have clothes to wear.
Right.
Today evening's discussion is not about whom you want to shoot. It's exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
To avoid shooting people, you focus on what you have. Don't you have something?
I have everything.
That's right.
That's true. I got your point.
So don't say but after this. Don't say but after this. Because if you say but after this, then you're defeating the conversation. Just say, I have everything. And let me, like Tarzan of the Apes, beat my chest and scream out loud in happiness. The person whom you want to shoot will be so jealous. Somebody who is not appreciating your hard work will be so jealous that the person will stop being bad to you, will appreciate your 100% effort as 100% effort. So try this out, Geeta, for some time. What you have to do as homework is work hard on appreciating and feeling happy about what you have, not what you don't have. You cannot change a toxic relationship, maybe, but what you can do is change your good fortune for better. You can give, you can start contributing, stop whining, stop being miserable. My hair is falling, my back is hurting, my knees are hurting. How far will you keep going like this?
Right.
On the other hand, you have a plate full of food. Keep 1/10 of that for somebody secretly and you pass it on.
Okay.
You have 100 rupees, 1 rupee you take out and keep it aside and give it to somebody.
Okay.
Don't worry about the person whom you want to shoot. You're wasting bullets. You're wasting bullets. It is not going to change. Maybe.
Thank you, sir.
Or maybe it will change. Who knows? But then chances are that if you contribute to your well-being, which is already good, then you will be great. It will not be just good, you will be great.
Because there are certain things which I feel very happy doing that.
जी वही करिए आप और अलग अलग चीजें जो करिए जो आपको संतुष्टि दे, संतोषा दे, contentment दे. You do those things that generate happiness and be the kind of person who's happy rather than attract people or situations that are unhappy and cause problems. Make your luck. Create your luck. Celebrate your luck. अंशुमन आप कुछ कह रहे थे? You wanted to say something before we end. जल्दी से बोलो अंशुमन. बिल्कुल कलकत्ता से हो. मतलब गाड़ी निकल रही है तभी चढ़ने वाले हो गाड़ी में. हाँ बोलो जल्दी बोलो.
So I was unsure whether I'll be getting bashed. Was wondering about the same question about what to do and what not to do. The thing is, let's say the गाड़ी वहीं पर अटकी हुई है कि whether it's very confusing. I spoke to you 2 Sundays with Arun. In the last one, I spoke that okay, billions are not doing also, they are still okay. So I tried that and I was good for some time. But then again now, I'm a little miserable. So is it now time to start? But then again, will it become compulsive? So I mean, it's just really confusing.
Today's conversation is about the abundance, which of course you joined when 99% of the conversation was over. So what you should do is you should go back to YouTube, and this conversation will be there on the channel. Just go through the initial part of the conversation and you will have an answer to the question that you just asked, okay? And you will be comfortable with that. So let's end for today. Final prayers. Om. Om. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Sadguru Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you to everyone on YouTube and on Zoom for joining Sundays with Arun. I'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.